This is our rotating fourth segment time right here. And this week is Shout Out to Netflix. Our show for this month has been the stand-ups over on Netflix. And what a good show it was.
It was. It had its
downfalls, but it was good overall, in my opinion. The thing that I think is the shining light is how the show was shot. It was very interesting. It had a flow from each comedian, there we go, or comic, whatever you want to say, had a flow from the very beginning to all the way to the end, where one person would finish their set, it would be shot right after another, and it had a good flow because it was the same crowd for everybody. You know, it wasn't a good crowd or a bad crowd. It was the same crowd for everybody, and I think they were all did pretty well, in my opinion, on it. The only one that I did not enjoy was you had the guy that opened, then you had Fortune, and then you had
he was the All I Got Are Black Jokes guy.
Was his name Dio or something like that?
I can't. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is pull up the names.
Sorry, guys. I watched some of this before we started, actually. Dion Cole. So we had As It Goes Away. I love this thing sometimes. But I loved how it was shot. And all the comedians were great until the last one. I mean, not the last one.
It was the one.
So we had Nate Bargatze, Fortune Phimister, Dion Cole, Nikki Glasser, which was awful.
Yeah.
Just absolutely awful. Beth Stelling was really good. I enjoyed her. And then Dan Soder finished up the whole thing. So let's go. I don't really remember all of Nate's because I didn't do all of his.
First one, right?
Yeah, he was talking about the prisoners where he was like doing stand up and
he's like, I judged this guy. It's what he's wearing. It's where we're at. He's just going to get water.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about, he's like, yeah, and there's no walls or nothing. So when he peed, he went out there. He goes, that kind of confidence, that man did it. I don't care what they say, he did it.
I thought he did a really good job, especially opening up the whole thing. Yeah. I think he did a really good job. Fortune, when she came out and started doing her set, I at first thought of, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be one of the, and I think female comedians get the worst rap. I think they have a lot to prove when they get up on stage.
Very true.
Because as a male, most men don't think women are funny. And that's just the sad part about it. But she comes up there and she just drops the mic and is just like, I'm a woman. And she makes the joke. And this is, I think, during the whole time where transgender and bathroom issues were going on. She's like, so when I go use the bathroom, she's like, I'm peeking in there. I'm like, I'm a woman. She's like, I might pee standing up, but that's my choice. But, you know, she gets into her set and she's talking about being a lesbian and everything. And she's like, the hardest thing, she's like, the hardest time, the only time it's been hard being gay is when the gay community declared war on Chick-fil-A.
She's like, let me stop you there. I'm a food eater first and a lesbian second.
She's like, this chicken don't taste like it hates gay people.
Like,
her set was so good.
I really liked her. I mean, all the way from, I'm from North Carolina. They're very particular about who uses their bathrooms.
All the way through to, like, playing the hot clarinet. Like,
she's like, yeah, because we'd go over to his house. We'd play Mario, and, I was Mario, he was Luigi, so he
helped me through the mushroom
fort. So one day he was like, give me an HJ. She was like, he scratched my back, I'm going to scratch your back. And he was like, that was the most intense hand job.
It was so good. It was such a good set. And her talking about tater tots and Cracker Barrel. So good. And then we had Dion Cole. And this guy, totally different than all the rest of them.
He was so... his humor was dry.
Oh, very dry, but it was
great.
Yes. And he comes up and he's got like a list in his hand and he's like, I'm gonna try some jokes out on y'all tonight. He's like, all of these are black jokes. He's like, I didn't think any of y'all white people would be here, but y'all just gonna have to deal with that. And then he's like, so I was out at dinner with these white devils the other night. That's the first he starts out with. And like he brings that into his act, but he acts like he doesn't know what he's doing, but it is so good. And he makes some like social commentaries that are good in my opinion. But it's
like what, like it was just, I mean, you knew it was coming, but it was still so funny when he was like, dang, he said, don't you hate when you can't read your own handwriting? And everybody's laughing. He goes, I'm putting this in there. He's like, that's really good. Just the little things he did.
And then at the very end, he's like, you know, most comedians like to go out with a big joke. He's like, but I can't find a big joke. He's like, good night. And walks off the stage.
I mean, he was probably next to Fortune. He was one of my favorites. Just the way he delivered things.
Oh, yeah.
It was good stuff.
Nikki Glasser, like, me and Amy tried to watch her, and she started off, and it just was not funny to me. It was not worth me spending 28 minutes listening to her.
I couldn't get past it either. I think that she was the low part of the totem pole, because I retained absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and then we get into Beth Stelling, and her set was different than the other two female comedians and anybody else really, but she was talking about like the airport security and frozen yogurt and her mom and going back home and all of this, and it was such a good set that she kind of stood out to me, but it's been a while since I watched her. And then we finished it up with Dan Soder, which was a pothead, pretty much.
He's like, I'm a 33-year-old pothead. He's like, you know, talking about his grandma. He's like, yeah, it'd be so cool to smoke a joint with my grandma. And, you know, we're sitting there, we're taking a puff, and, you know, we start getting into our soaps, and he goes, oh my God, I can't believe he actually didn't die. Like, talking about, you know, soaps, how someone dies, but they always find a way to come back. One of my favorite things was when he was talking about, you know, McDonald's, about now it's real. He's like, what have I been putting in my body the past 30 years? I mean, just some of the stuff that he was just going on about. I mean, stand-ups was really good. You know, it was had its rough point, but overall, I mean, it's a solid. You know,
it's a solid watch. I would totally say that. And if you skip over that one comedian,
she's the fourth one.
Yeah, it's fourth one. It is well worth the watch and well worth the hour and a half or so, that maybe 2 hours that you give to it. It's something that if you enjoy comedy and you're looking for some new people to listen to, and you like tater tots, then you definitely need to watch it.
Yeah, so. It was great. So good.
So, for this month's shout out to Netflix, what do you want to pick? Since I picked the stand-ups, what do you want to pick?
Oh. Does it have to be a TV show?
No, it can be a movie. We can't do animation because we have a whole animation one.
No, I know. I'm trying to think.
It can be a documentary. I've got a documentary. If you can't come up with something, I got something to put in. So
go for it, and I'll pick next week.
Okay, next month.
Next month. I don't know what.
What is next week? Next week's comics, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll get to pick next week. Okay, so it is not on Netflix. So
that defeats the purpose.
We said that it could be off of Netflix. It's the name, but whatever.
Well, how are you going to find it?
It's on HBO.
No, everybody got HBO.
Well, that sucks.
I guess not everyone has Netflix either, but still, I think more people have Netflix than they do HBO.
Whatever way you need to get to watch this, okay? The Defiant Ones is amazing. It is chronological. It's talking about Jimmy Iovine, and Dr. Dre. And it is this kind of look at the music industry from about the 60s all the way till currently, from hip-hop to like rock and roll and all of that, and how they meet and they mesh, and then they become these moguls, because both of them are the head of Beats.
You know how much it costs to manufacture Beats?
$10.
14.
It does detail like how they made Beats to what it is. It is so good, and the way that it is filmed, it's just impressive. And it's not just a documentary. It makes you feel. It makes you want to create. It makes you want to do. It makes you want to not just like sit there and watch it. Like after you're done, you're like, man, I want to do something. I want to be successful. I want to do something that's big.
Yeah.
And that's what I really loved about the show. So there you go. The Defiant Ones on HBO. You can get it on HBO now. You can probably find it on Admit Me or something like that. You know, whatever. I just dropped that out there. So there you go, guys. There is the Nerd Cave podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. We are going to do an AMA section for just the live stream. If you want to get everything early, you can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave. Check it out there. You can get Let's Plays early. You can get to watch our live streams every week, unlike this week, which is for everybody. You can get to see that. Or you can pay a little bit more. You get those perks. You can get the audio version early or the video version early. You can be one of our awesome people like a Boo or our Patreon producer, Caleb Palmer, and support us there. We've hit 10 subscribers over on Patreon, so we are going to do our community game night this week on August 31st, starting at 8 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be playing Rocket League. I'll be jumping into Discord. I'll be putting that down in the description as well. I'll be posting it all over the place. That's where we're going to talk and everything. I cannot wait to get to play with everybody. You excited?
I am very excited. I love Rocket League. It's a great game. It's super fun. And I like to show people that I do not suck anymore.
Yeah, I suck, so it's all going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun with everybody. Looking forward to that. So, guys, make sure that you go over there, do that. If you haven't already, go over to iTunes and our podcast services around the globe. Support us by dropping us a review. Go subscribe so we rank higher and higher on the list. It helps us out.
It does.
So please go do that. And if you can't support us on Patreon, giving us a review helps out a ton. And we appreciate that. So, this has been Zach.
And Robbie.
Have a week. If you enjoyed that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you want gaming content, you can go over to Nerd Cave Gaming right there. If you want to support us, you can check out Patreon right there. If you want more videos, check them out right here. Go ahead, pick one of them. I wonder which one you're going to do. If you're going to be cool, you'd pick any of them. All 4 of them. You'd be awesome.